everybody and welcome. My name is Fiona. I'm the chaplain at the University of Hertfordshire, and this week it is Interfaith Week. And what we've decided to do is have a little get together of our chaplains and our chaplaincy assistants and talk briefly about one or two aspects of our faith that might be helping us through this COVID-19 time. So we have with us Mike Hermann, who's our volunteer Jewish chaplain. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
We have with us Hossein Saidpour, who's our volunteer Muslim chaplain. Hello, Hossein.
Hello.
And finally, we have with us Peter Briggs, who is the chaplaincy assistant and, like myself, is a Christian.
Hiya.
So, the first thing I'd like to ask you all is your faith important to you at a time like this? I'm going to kick off with Mike.
Okay. Yes, and I didn't realise how much so until we were well into the first lockdown. My rabbi holds a nightly gathering where we say 2 or 3 prayers, which have become our standard prayers. And I can't put my finger on it, but I have really grown to need to do it. It's a mutual thing that I find if I'm not there, I'm letting the other 15 or 20 down who are there. And if I'm not there, I've lost something. You know, I haven't got whatever it is that I've gained in the little gathering. Gathering's about 20 minutes. And I just gained something from it. And I'm sure that the other 15 or 20 people do as well.
Brilliant. I'm going to move to Peter next. Peter, what would you say to that?
Yeah, in these difficult times, my faith is important to me because it reminds me there's a bigger story going on and that I don't have to just look at my very small perspective on things. And yeah, it just helps me to trust in God as the ultimate hope. Yeah, and hope is something that we can all do with a bit of at this time.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more there. And Hossein, what would you say to this?
Yes, I think especially at this time when there is a lot of pressure, a lot of stress and anxiety in the atmosphere, and a lot of people find it difficult to cope with the present circumstances, I think my faith plays a very important role in being strong, keeping strong, and also my faith would help me tackle all the problems because I feel that I'm not alone. I've got a God who is compassionate, merciful, very kind and loving, that helps me with all the problems that I may have. And all this negativity in the atmosphere can turn into positive solutions if you've got a God who is omnibus and is very important in my heart and in my life, and I can cope better with all the problems.
Brilliant, thank you. So I'm going to come to my next question. What piece of scripture or what saying maybe from your faith would you share with someone at the moment? What helps you? What might help someone else? I'm going to go to Peter first this time, please.
Yeah, so the one I thought of was 1 Peter 5 verse 7, which says, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." And the reason I've chosen that one is because it's the creator of all time and space and the person that's in control of everything cares personally about you and about me, and that's very reassuring. If I was going to trust anyone, it would be the one who's in control. So that's my one.
That's lovely. And Hossein, I'll come to you next this time.
Yes, I would choose a very kind and very important verse from Quran, which says it's chapter 14 called Abraham, and it's verse 7, and it says, if you appreciate God, the blessings and your capacity to absorb and attract good things in your life increases. So blessing is important, because sometimes you go out and you know, all the good, you receive all the good news, and you enjoy your day, and you're in luck. And we need to appreciate all the good things that we've got, all the blessings that we've got. And the more we appreciate the blessings, the more we get. And the verse simply says that your capacity to receive good things in life will increase. And that's my favorite.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, that's a really positive one there. Mike, what have you got to add for us, please?
I've got one that I know you'll be very, very familiar with, and I hope you agree with me that it's appropriate. Psalm 23. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, he's beside me. However bad it is, the Lord is my shepherd. The psalmist says it much better than me and much longer, but in summary, however bad it is, he is walking beside me. It's as simple as that. And that's really it. Psalm 23 works at this time. Things are pretty bad, not just with the COVID, but with the politics, with the racism, with the anti-Semitism, and he walks beside me.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to remember. And I've had the privilege of walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and you really feel that resonate as you go. I'm just going to add one personal little thing here, and it's not from scripture, but I find it so useful. And it's a quote from the writer Douglas Adams, and he says, "I may not have ended up where I thought I was going, but I've ended up where I needed to be." And I think that's something that's helpful to remember in a crisis, that we've been knocked a little bit sideways. We're not on the path that we thought we were on, but actually maybe because we all believe in God, because of the higher being, that we're being taken somewhere where we actually need to go. So my final question to you today is, if somebody comes to you and says, I want to start exploring my faith, your faith, where would you get them to start? And I think this time I go first to Mike.
Okay. I had prior notice, we all had prior notice of the question, and this was one that really puzzled me, because I don't know what the answer is. Judaism is more of a law-based theology than a faith-based theology. And many of our prayers start with an exaltation to our God and God of our fathers. So why does it need, I would say, why does it need the double? And if someone is born into their faith, they have it, they don't have to do anything, it's there, you have an automatic belief, come what may. If, on the other hand, you are someone who has learnt about the faith and grown to it by evidence, by measurement, by data, by information, then it's a strong faith. But it can also be taken away from you by someone else coming out with other evidence. You actually need the both. You need to have this solid belief that's there regardless, but also a measurable evidence. So, like I said, I find it very difficult. And when people say, well, I'm thinking of becoming Jewish, or I've always thought about being Jewish, because again, part of our religion is not to proselytize. And certain denominations of the religion make it very, very difficult, to the point of almost impossible. As you know, I am a liberal Jew, and we make it easier, so it is more possible than in the Orthodox area, but it's still difficult, and a lot of people do not make it through the conversion process, even as liberals.
That is fascinating, Mike, because what you've said to me is essentially I've asked you a very Christian question.
Yeah. trying to look up the answer, one of the things that I can't remember where it was. I think it was a website called AISH, who are a group who educate people like our students. So they're an outreaching education group, and they contrast Christianity and Judaism by saying that we are a law-based religion rather than a faith-based religion.
Fantastic, thank you. And I find that really interesting. I have learned something there. I'm going to move with my Christian question to Peter next. So Peter, what would you say to somebody? What do they go to in Christianity as a first step?
I would say the first thing to do is pray, and it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just a simple asking God to come into your life is the place to start. But after that, perhaps finding someone to talk to about it. Maybe a church nearby or a friend that you know is a Christian would be a great place to start.
Thank you. And the last word goes to Hossein.
Yes, I think the best thing to start doing is following the sayings, and also Quran says that the word from Allah, God, says that if you take one step towards me, I will take 10 steps towards you. So this is very important. Even though we don't take major steps to becoming Muslims, you're not expected to overnight become a Muslim, and we believe that all Christians, all Jews and Muslims are all belong to the book, Abrahamic book, and they all are Muslim from our point of view. They don't perhaps practice the same sort of prayers, but they're all from the same root. And we believe that if anyone wants to step into the Muslim arena, they would start by taking simple steps, simple prayers, remembrance of God, remembering that he is the creator of heaven and earth, creator of everyone, no matter. He is not a discriminator. He doesn't see black, white, Jews, Christians. Everyone is human being. Everyone is children of Adam, and we need to bear in mind that he is loving. Even if we say prayers in our heart, he will listen. He listens to every simple breath, every simple prayer, and he will respond. We may not realize the response in black and white, in words, but we can feel it. We can, over time, if we practice prayers, over time, we can feel the response of God talking to us in terms of not words, but in terms of revelation, in terms of feeling that he is kind. He wants to help us succeed. He wants to help us be healthy, take a healthy life and enjoy. And the way to serve God is to serve human being, to serve nature. So God doesn't want us to take hardship. He wants us to actually serve humanity and be kind to others in the same way that he is kind to us.
Wonderful, Hossein. And I thank you for making the point here that as a Jew and a Christian and a Muslim, we are all worshipping the same God. That's very important. And I know it's a great misconception, but it's one that I'm always happy to challenge. I'd like to thank you all for coming today and sharing your perspectives. I've learned something. It's wonderful. I've learned lots of things today. I'd like to point out at the end of this podcast that we also have in the chaplaincy at the University of Hertfordshire, we have a Buddhist chaplain who couldn't be here today, but he is also available if you'd like to speak to him, Tom Short. If you want to get in touch with the chaplaincy, you just have to email chaplain@hearts.ac.uk, and the phone number is 07702 442 696. That's 07702 442 696. on during office hours. And I'd like to wish you all a very blessed Interfaith Week. Thank you for contributing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.